So in my last video, we diagnosed the problem with my Honda making this crazy grinding noise. You can watch that video right here. And we found it to be the alternator, so it's the next morning and we're going to replace the alternator. Alright, so we got to remove the power steering pump first. So we're going to first loosen this 10mm. Alright, so there's a bolt that this wing nut attaches to, and that goes through here to this side. This is a 12. By the way, this little guy was a 10mm. This is a 12mm. So we're gonna loosen him up, and we're gonna just completely remove this little wing nut bolt right here. Wing nut bolt? Bolt with a wing head? I don't know what you would call this. Wing bolt? Yeah, wing bolt. Remove this wing bolt. It's almost there. There we go. And then we'll remove this guy completely. And we can just, I'm going to hold the nut and just turn this part. It's a lot easier. See how this guy has a little threaded hole? That's where the adjuster wing bolt screws into. We're going to take this, we're going to take that. Alright guys, I'm trying to get you the best shot I can here, but it's kind of tight and I got to be able to get my socket wrench in there. So by the power steering pulley, there's a bolt attached to it. You can't see it. Again, I can't really get you in. Well, maybe if I take you off and I move you in. You see that bolt right there? Yeah, that's the one. That's the one we're getting. So that's a 12mm. It's gonna. I like this wrench. It's really low profile. So we're gonna just squeeze that in, and it like articulates a little bit. It has lots of leverage. So now that that's loose, the power steering pump is free, well, free to move from the adjuster. So now I'm gonna, this is the tricky part, I'm gonna reach in. This is attached to a bolt on the other side. It's like kind of like a through bolt. So let me remove the belt since it's loose now. And we're just gonna, maybe if I, alright, so now I can pull it up, and that makes it easier to just get this nut out. Don't drop it. And then pull out the bolt. The bolt is designed so that it won't spin in the notch that it's in. So here we go. So you don't need to worry about holding the back. See how it's hexed? Alright. So now that we have that, we can, this just pulls up, and we can actually just remove the whole power steering pump and move it out of the way. Alright, so next we have to remove the tire on the driver's side. Okay, so underneath we have this panel guy here. Now I'm missing this little, you know, holder upper thing, but I got one left, so we're just gonna pry that out like that. And then I just am going to tuck it underneath so it can't, you know, move on me. Alright, I managed to get you guys a pretty good shot. So we're going to reach up in here. This is another 12mm. And we're going to loosen this. This is kind of the lock. This locks the adjustment down so it doesn't move on you. So I'm trying to reach around the camera. Okay, with that adjuster bolt loose, we're going to go up top, and there's a through bolt here. And so this is a 14 millimeter. Take this off. Alright, so we're going to take that off in a bit. But before I do that, what I want to do is remove the belt. So let me get the lighting here, right? So if you look, there's a wing nut down here. You just barely see it. It's right here. We're going to loosen that. And when we loosen that, the alternator should start getting looser. Now sometimes this can be really corroded. See if you can loosen it and then push the alternator down. Sometimes this can be really rusted up and it won't move with your fingers. And when that happens, you just have to remove the bracket down there by the lock bolt we loosened earlier. Just remove the whole bracket, and then you can take the belt off and then clean up the bolt on the bench. So we're just going to keep loosening this until we can slip the belt off. Okay, so let's see how we're doing here. Okay, good. So we're just going to take this belt off. Okay, so now we can finish with the belt off. We can finish removing this through bolt. Oh, that's right. I remember this about this job. So you can't take this out all the way out. So I'm hoping that this Alright. This looks like it's in the way of the bolt coming out, so let's just take that off. Don't be afraid to take stuff off if it's in the way. Alright, so let's see if we can... Okay, so let's see if we can get this out of there with the pry bar. I don't think this bolt is no good. So you don't even really need to take the bolt out. Just fortunate. Okay. So remember that locking bolt we loosened earlier below? Yeah, you gotta take that all the way out. If you ever can't unscrew a bolt. Whoops, I dropped it. Just move things around. And it might get easier to turn. So luckily it didn't fall into the abyss. And this is where the adjuster wing bolt goes through. So you have to completely unscrew that for this to come out. So now, we haven't removed the electrical connectors yet, but I'm hoping that I can take this out and make it easier to remove the connectors. That's usually what I like to do. Yeah. So let's remove these guys next. Okay, so it's a good idea to remove the negative battery cable before you disconnect these alternator connections. And that's because the bolt on one of the connections is hot, and since everything is grounded on the car, the chassis and everything, it's really easy to short it, and make sparks and everything. So it's a good idea to remove the negative battery cable. Alright, so with that removed, the cable I mean, we're going to now, I think I could just, so we're going to take off this boot here. Then this is the hot wire I was talking about. The boot is there because it's hot. It's for protection. Right, and that it looks like a 10 millimeter. Let me see here. There we go. Now this plug guy over here, we're just gonna, this also has a boot on it. we're just gonna squeeze it, and it should come out. And then this is on the little bracket, so let's see if I can undo that. Okay, so there's a little tab there that you gotta push down, and then it comes off. See that little tab in there? Just push that down, and now we're free. We should be able to fish this out of here. There we go. So if I hold it in my hand and turn it, you can really hear that. And I can feel it. It's vibrating. So that's always satisfying. Alright, so we have to swap over this bracket that the electrical connector sits on. There we go. And then we're just gonna transfer that back over. There we go. Alright, so now a lot of the times what I might have to do is there's like an adjuster sleeve right here, and a lot of the times you need to enlarge that adjuster sleeve. So, but let's see if we can get lucky. We don't have to do that because a lot of the times they're pretty rusty. Aha, we got lucky. But yeah, if it ever happens that this doesn't fit between these two brackets, you need to push this adjuster sleeve out. So what I like to do is get some pliers. In fact, I'll just show you. So you get a big pair of pliers and you get in there and you put one jaw on the bracket and the other one on the sleeve, and then you just squeeze this, and it should pop out that way. Probably have to use some penetrating oil, get it to soak. So like I said, we got lucky with this one because it just fits in there. So we're gonna put that in, and actually before we put that in, let's just put the electrical connector back on. Make it easy. So sorry, can you see that? Can you see what's going on? There we go. So this guy goes here. Wait for the click, and then put the boot over it, protect it. Slide this guy back on the bracket, and then the hot wire will go on the stud. Okay, so we're going to tighten this. Now don't kill this thing. Alright, you don't want anything to be... If you kill this, you can damage the alternator. And by kill, I mean over tighten. I don't want any ambiguity here. There. So now the electrical connections are in. So now we can put this through the bracket. Just like that. And put this bolt through. We're going to put this back in through the alternator. So, alright, we got that in. Now we're going to have to thread the adjuster bolt through this. I'm going to do that from above. Alright guys, tell me when I'm getting close to it. Oh, I got it. I didn't need your help. I'm going to put the belt back on. So now I'm just going to tighten this wing bolt until the belt is tight, and then tighten everything down. So while I was tightening it, it was really getting tight. So what I did was I just sprayed some penetrating oil all over this, and it made it a lot easier. So that's something you can think of. So we're going to tighten this, you know, locking bolt down. Alright. So now that we're all tight down there, we need to tighten this upper bolt. Alright, so we're going to put this bracket back on. Alright, so now we can put this power steering pump back on. I'm going to wait a little bit to put this back on the bracket because it kind of gets in the way. So we need to, let me zoom you guys in. Alright, so let's put this bolt through first, since it's going to be the easiest now because nothing is in the way. So put that through, and then thread the nut on. So then that's the top one. Put the bottom one in, and we'll just reach around here. And it's hard to show you any closer, but pull the power steering pump up. That will help you sort of get in there. Okay. So now with those two on, we can put our little bracket guy on right here with the 10mm. I always forget to take my watch off. My girlfriend, it's a good thing my girlfriend doesn't watch my videos that often, because she would be pissed if she saw me working on a car with my watch on, because she got me that watch and it was like $300. I really should be more careful. And I am, but sometimes I forget. But man, she would kill me. But we'll see if she sees this. I don't think she will. Okay, so we're not gonna start tightening this yet, because we need to put the belt on. So we're just gonna put the belt through here and then just bring it down to the crank. I'm going to put the reservoir on its little bracket, and we're gonna tighten this. And again, don't put any wrenches on this wing nut. It's starting to get tight. So now we can tighten this guy up right here. Yeah, that's too tight. So what happened was, this was kind of loose and the pump was kind of slopped to the side. So what I'm gonna do, and when I tightened it, it kind of pulled it up and made it really tight. That's what I don't want. So I just loosened it up a little bit. Now let's check it. Okay, that's better. If you guys remember, the last one is down here, underneath that belt. There we go. So the last thing you don't want to forget, we're gonna put this little cover back, and there we go. So obviously the last thing would be to put the wheel on, but I got to change the oil in this car, and it's easy to crawl under it with the wheel off, so I'm not going to show that. Alright, so now let's see if there's a noise. Car's not going to start with the battery disconnected. Alright, let's try this again. Hey, there we go. No more noise. Alright guys, thanks for watching. If you could thumbs up the video, I would like that. Like my Facebook page, I'll put the link in the description. Thanks for watching, see you later.